introductions.
One big L right.
We're going to start out. Vicki, could you come up here, please? All right, the Buck Collector Club's Hall of Fame. Ken and Vicki Burns, inducted both on July 24th, 2018. Ken and Vicki Burns have a long and impressive resume of involvement with the BCCI. As avid collectors and displayers, they have regularly exhibited knife shows in the Midwest and along the Mid-Atlantic seaboard, from the Atlanta Blade Show to smaller shows in Ohio, Kentucky, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. They have been an effective team, you might say ambassadors for the BCCI and for Buck Knives at these shows, recruiting new members, selling excess club inventory, and sharing a broad wealth of knowledge about all things Buck. Individually, Ken was a longtime member of the BCCI Board of Directors and served the term as club secretary. Naturally, Ken's death on August 14, 2016 left a huge void for his family. It was also a cruel blow to the BCCI. We all lost a great friend and an effective contributor to our organization. Very involved in her own right, Vicki has written many articles for the club newsletter and for the Buck Employee newsletter, and she taught a seminar at the club's Smoky Mountain Rendezvous event. Along the way, Ken and Vicki raised a son and daughter who were also fans of Buck Knives, and I believe all 9 of their grandchildren are BCCI members. To say that Ken and Vicki are worthy candidates for inclusion in the BCCI Hall of Fame is an understatement. Their contributions, both as a couple and individually, are above and beyond the Hall of Fame consideration, and both Ken and Vicki are worthy recipients of membership in the BCCI Hall of Fame.
Before I start this, I wanted to first of all say thank you to John and Larry. They work so hard on these things. Cheryl, Larry's wife and I were talking. John and I celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary in May. And Cheryl and Larry are going to be celebrating next month their 47th wedding anniversary. But this month will be John and Larry's 30th wedding anniversary. Cheryl and I were talking, and every day John comes home from work, and I'll say, "Did you talk to Larry today?" I said, "How many times?" And Cheryl says to Larry, "Did you talk to Larry, John today?" And he says, "Does a bear go in the woods?" Every day.
All right, you guys can't talk to each other.
But yeah, they've been together 30 years this month. they get along as well as we do. Better. This is to induct Arlene Logan into the Hall of Fame. Arlene Logan is a longtime member of the BCCI who has greatly contributed to the growth and success of the club. Arlene was one of the early female displayers at the Blade Show and later was part of the BCCI effort at the Ohio NKCA show. She even came to Atlanta alone without her husband for one particular Blade Show because he was serving our country in the Army Reserves. While her support of her husband Artie's leadership involvement in the club was also evident, Artie was also a pioneer in encouraging youth involvement in the club. By nurturing and mentoring granddaughter Courtney Thompson long before the club formally began a program to reach out to the youth members, she was instrumental in the first youth display in club history. Arlene was particularly a faithful photographer of club event happenings. Without being asked, she would take pictures of club members, their displays, and interactions with the public. Then she was known to slip away to get the pictures developed in order to share them with the club. This was long before selfies invaded the world. You could say Arlene was the unofficial club photographer. Today, her pictures still provide a glimpse of how early club displays and functions appeared. To Arlene, we offer a hearty thank you for all of your efforts on behalf of the Buck Collectors Club. You are a worthy recipient of a membership in the BCCI Hall of Fame.
Arlene's not here at this event, but we'll get her plaques to her. Bruce, you're up next.
Tonight I'm honored to be here to pay tribute to Gene Draw. Gene was very active in the club in the early days. I got the privilege of knowing Gene for about his last 2 or 3 years, I think, that he was in the club. And I think I saw him one time after that. He served as our first BCCI treasurer, a position he held for several years. His accurate bookkeeping was invaluable, and the reports he devised still are the cornerstone of the club's financial reporting today. He was also a regular displayer at both the Ohio and Atlanta shows, greatly contributing to the success of the BCCI. Gene's innovative wooden and plexiglass display cases were expertly fashioned in the same shape as a model 525 knife, making it one of the most ingenious displays to be found. I don't know if they've got pictures of that, but if you could just imagine, here was a display case, and then he filled it with all the real things inside. Very creative, very clever. Gene was also quick to explain how the Model 525 blade could be found on many other similar buck knives. After a long illness, Gene passed to his eternal reward on April 20th, 2016. And we posthumously offer him a sincere and grateful thank you for all of his efforts on behalf of the Buck Collectors Club. He is a worthy recipient of the BCCI Hall of Fame. Thank you.
As one of this country gentleman's greatest admirers, it gives me a great honor to read this induction into the Hall of Fame. James F. Jimmy Holbrook was an advisory board member of the BCCI and regular displayer at the Blade Show who greatly contributed to the success of the club. Jimmy faithfully brought his award-winning Buck Model 500 display to Atlanta for many years, where he acquired the reputation of a true Southern gentleman. As he interacted with show patrons, it was obvious that Jimmy liked people and had a great zeal for the hobby of collecting and displaying buck knives. Others took note of Jimmy's drive and people skills, electing him to the BCCI Advisory Board, where he faithfully served. Often, Jimmy's grandchildren would accompany him to Atlanta, giving him additional opportunities to share what he loved with show patrons. Jimmy was an ideal ambassador for the BCCI and for buck knives until his death on February 3rd, 2017. To Jimmy Holbrook, we posthumously offer a sincere and grateful thank you for all of your efforts on behalf of the Buck Collectors Club. You are a worthy recipient of membership in the BCCI Hall of Fame.
It is my honor to read the induction ceremony verbiage for Jack and Joan Forsman. And we have the plaques here. I'm going to go ahead now and give you, Georgia and John, the plaques for Jack and Joan. Jack and Joan Forsman initially became involved with the BCCI for one reason. Their son John was the club president. It did not take long, however, for them to become very active and most valuable contributors to the mission of the club. Jack developed a fondness for Buck's Alpha Hunter line of knives and soon built an award-winning display that illustrated his affinity to these slick knives. His display won many awards, including Best of Show at the Blade Show, just to emphasize how impressive it was. He also stepped up to the plate to help with the club's initial foray on the World Wide Web, where he served as our website coordinator. In addition, Jack managed membership renewals and handled the mailing of new membership packets. As time went on, Jack became more and more involved in the day-to-day operations of the club, and his website and membership reports, along with other input to the advisory board, became very valuable indications of where the club stood and how well we were meeting basic membership needs. Joan was not one to stand on the sidelines and watch. With zeal and charm, she jumped right in to help with the BCCI sales table. The club now had a tremendous asset whose friendly, outgoing personality attracted show patrons as they came down the aisle. It was not long until Joan was affectionately referred to as the queen of the BCCI sales table. To watch her greet total strangers and convince them that they just had to have a BCCI flashlight was a lot of fun to watch. Joan never met a stranger, and her enthusiasm was contagious. With the assistance of Leroy Reamer, she also assembled quite a nice display of Buck Model 310 whittlers. She apparently found the small size just right and was most attracted to the many colorful and special handle materials Leroy was able to use to dress up these knives to her liking. On February the 4th, 2013, his Heavenly Father called Jack home, leaving a huge void in our hearts and in our club. Shortly after that, on May 22nd, 2013, Joan left us to join her partner in life. We are convinced Joan was so immersed in taking care of Jack's needs that she ignored her own health. Whatever the case, the Forsman family lost their earthly anchors, and the BCCI lost two tremendous friends. Jack and Joan were involved in the club for less time than we would have chosen, but their contributions, both as a couple and individually, were huge, and both Jack and Joan Forsman are worthy recipients of membership in the BCCI Hall of Fame. we have another presentation to make. The first special project club knife was an Ironwood Model 532 offered in 2003. It featured a BG42 blade and the outline of an anvil lasered into the ironwood inlay. The knife quickly sold out, and club fundraising efforts over and above the annual members-only knives was underway. For several years, we were the only game in town, and it was not very difficult to come up with desirable knives. We would select a popular buck model and add an upgraded blade, a non-standard handle material, perhaps a drop point blade in place of the normal clip blade, or a combination of several such tweaks. Whatever we came up with was fairly easy to sell. Part of this was because the knife was indeed special. Also, we had almost no competition for this sort of upgraded buck knife. For the last few years, a new normal has been in place. There are now several very active retailers, many of them primarily web-centered, and they are consistently providing the same sort of enhanced buck models. Now we have all sorts of competition in this marketplace. Buck project engineer Caleb Cooper has emerged as a fantastic source of new, innovative ideas to help the club offer desirable knives for both collecting and for using. He is a joy to work with. And if I had to give a summary of how he operates, I would say that Caleb looks for a way to make projects possible. Instead of saying that an idea cannot be done, or it would be too expensive, he puts his mind in gear and comes up with ways to make proposed projects affordable, imaginative, and collector-friendly. Caleb has cool ideas, and he is a gem to work with. Because of his approach, the club is eager to make public our appreciation for Caleb, and tonight we want to recognize him as a BCCI MVP. Caleb, would you come forward? I have a plaque here, and I would like to read the verbiage on this plaque. With grateful appreciation for his extraordinary service to the Buck Collectors Club, Caleb Cooper is recognized as a BCCI MVP. While conscientiously working for Buck Knives, it is apparent that Caleb goes the extra mile, consistently creating innovative ways to help club knife projects have great market appeal. It is a pleasure to work with somebody who obviously cares about the collector segment of the knife industry. Caleb, thank you for your servant's heart and can-do approach. You are a great asset to Buck Knives.
Raffles and schedules and swap plus, why don't you come on up?
Okay.